weather today. It's spring. I don't know if my allergies are just out of control or I've picked up a cold or something worse. But I still want to try to get this distributor knocked loose so we can get some timing adjusted. To that end, I now have one of these. This is one of Joe DeYoung's distributor wrenches, and this will give me some leverage or something to hammer on to maybe get that thing to spin and knock it loose. So let's see if we can get this thing to work. Now for reference, I've been out here every day or every other day trying to spray this thing down with some penetrating oil. I've used the old PB Blaster. I've had a lot of luck with it over the past few years. I tried some of this Freol stuff. I think it would work better for exposed nuts and bolts. I even tried some of this CRC freeze-off stuff to try to do a temperature shock, see if that would knock it loose, and it hasn't really done too much. All I've managed to do is get this little collar here that tightens things up loose, and that was more so I could at least force feed some more oil down it like so, just down to the exposed parts. But you can't really grip this thing all that well, hence the need for one of these. Now he's got it shaped to the exact right size for this distributor. I believe you should probably try to grip it lower, maybe towards where this rounded part is on the bottom. Seems that would have a little bit more structure to it to get some leverage on. Alright, after a little bit of effort, I think I've got this thing tightened down enough. I can't tell if it moved or not. I really don't have a lot of room in here. It might have just been the distributor body. Oh. That's what they say. If you can get it to wiggle a little bit, it'll come loose. That's the whole thing about this distributor. It's all about applying the force where it needs to be. If you can get it to move, it'll eventually come out. Funny, because that's about where it needed to be advanced to right there. Will it move by hand? Nope. It's actually kind of nice. that penetrating oil has really done a lot of the work for me, but just having a tool that would let me get a good grip on it, that's helped immensely. Just being able to apply force the right way. I didn't have to edit the heck out of this to make it look like it worked faster. I just started smacking on it, and within 5 minutes I've got it moving about as much as you guys have seen on video. Yeah. There we go. Spin it by hand. Now we're getting somewhere. Oh wow. Guys, just like that, the distributor is out. So here's the old one. You can actually see the stamps here, IAD 4008. And once you wipe this thing down, it doesn't really look like it should have been stuck. But it didn't take much. So one notable thing on my original distributor here that I didn't really realize until recently is that the oiler is not present. This is gummed up with dirt and gunk, and the way it was set in there, it wouldn't have been oiling anything anyways. So this is most likely why this poor thing is worn the heck out and it has so much play in every possible direction. This may still be a rebuildable core though, so I'll probably hold on to it. What I'll be replacing this with is the Joe's Motor Pool version of the IAD 4008. I've already unboxed this, but for any of you who haven't seen one of these, it looks correct, it feels correct, the weight of it is correct, it doesn't feel like it's made of metal of dubious Asian quality. It even comes with a data tag for an IGC 4705 if you want it to be correct for your World War II restoration. This is how they arrive. It comes with a brown cap, correct for World War II, but for post-war it'll just work. It just looks absolutely correct. It feels absolutely correct. It has the oiler that mine is missing. It has some very good springs. Cap just wants to jump right off. Now, the difference here is that this is the later style. They do have an earlier style and a later style, but this one actually has the dust cover that mine was missing. Also comes with a brown rotor, correct for World War II. Inside, it looks exactly as it should. Comes with points and condenser, all greased up, points are gapped. This thing is ready to go, drop in ready. Kind of hard to see below, but it's got springs, it's got the advance, it's got everything. It looks absolutely perfect to my untrained eyes. So let's go install this thing. Just to quickly check the gap here, they say that it's about the thickness of a business card. So I'm gonna rotate that to where the points are open. Got Ron Fitzpatrick's business card. That just right about fits in there. I'll find the correct feeler gauge later, but that looks right. Now I'm going to preface this part of the video by saying I'm not doing it correctly. I know that my oil pump down there is 180 degrees out from where it should be. So the correct thing to do would be to go pull the oil pump, clock it to where it should be, put it back in, but I don't have an oil pump gasket, and I would really like to replace that while I'm at it, because I want to do things correct, unlike the last guy. Another thing that I should be doing is throwing some anti-seize on here so that long term it doesn't get stuck in there as easily as it would have. I'm also going to skip the anti-seize for this step because I doubt that it's going to get frozen up in the couple of weeks it'll be before I do it right. So for now, I'm going to just put a few drops of oil in the oiler, spin it around so it'll have some oil, and I'm going to put it in exactly as it was, 180 degrees out, which is incorrect. The oiler won't work as intended, at least from the start, and then I'll fix it correctly a little bit later. Go ahead and put the dust cap off, since I actually have one now. The rotor on, which should only fit the one way. There we go. And now I'll have to spin the distributor body to approximately where it was before. Bottom screw in to lock it down. Alright, the rotor doesn't wobble freely, dust covers right where it needs to be. And let's get it all wired back up. Now, since my old distributor cap was already new and it's already got everything in the right orientation, 180 degrees out, I'll go ahead and just reuse it for now. And we should be ready to start up. So that did not go as planned. And I don't immediately want to blame the Joe's Motor Pool distributor. It's quite possible that the problem exists behind the camera. There were actually multiple problems, and it was kind of a whole bunch of problems all at once. So first off, I think we had a fuel delivery problem. The fuel filter was not very full. And I think maybe the needle got stuck on the carburetor, and a little bit of the tried and true, time-tested, percussive maintenance by smacking it with a wrench might have fixed that sooner. But it didn't have enough gas at times. I was not getting any kind of power out of it. It actually broke down in front of the house. I couldn't get it up the hill and back into the garage. Second, I think there was a bit of a Second, the accelerator cable got stuck in such a way that the throttle stuck open. In other news, the accelerator cable is now broken and I need to replace it. Fortunately, I bought one 3 years ago, so I just happen to have one sitting on the shelf. I just need to install it now. But third, I think the problem was that I assumed that this thing was set up and ready to go, and it might not have been. Now, you guys did see me take a business card and put it in there, and that's about 20,000. That's good to go, because it looked like they'd set the points, and they probably did. And there was a glob of grease all over it, so I figured that they had greased it up to where this plastic wouldn't wear down. That may have been an incorrect assumption on my part. Because when I first pulled this out of the Jeep, let me set that back. In order to just get it back up the driveway, we did a tactical swap in the middle of the road because I was blocking the road. I put the old one back in, guesstimated the timing, it fired right up and it got back to the garage. But when I pulled the cap off this to look at it, I could spin the shaft and there would be absolutely no points gap whatsoever. So it looks like I wore this thing down through ignorance. And that's okay. I am willing to admit that I don't know everything, and I'm going to show you the failures here. But I paid an idiot tax today because I didn't know that I probably should have added grease or made sure that the grease that they globbed on here was applied evenly. So basically I tried to adjust this eccentric out, and there's not enough adjustment in the eccentric to give me 20 thousandths of gap. It's just not possible on this. So these points are probably toast. But second, there was an interesting thing with this connector here. I was using the little dust shield. When I pulled this off, there was a little scorch mark, and this thing's got like a light coating of some kind of oil on it, so it wiped right off. But there was a scorch mark on it, and I figured that it had ground it out against this connector right here, and if that had just been bent down, that wouldn't have happened. This condenser is probably okay, but I'm still gonna test it. But basically, as it sits right now, I can't get enough gap on this thing to make it work, so nothing's probably gonna work right until I swap in another set of points, which I hate to do. These are brand new, and I already messed them up, but that's okay. That's the idiot tax I pay for not knowing these things yet. So I will get around to doing that eventually. Otherwise, this thing looks pretty freaking sweet. It's perfect on the inside. So I suppose this thing being a clone of the Autolite, the 4008, I could just swap the plates over and it's probably good to go. And these points are new anyways. They might be okay. So I'll look into that, see about swapping these over, and yeah, we'll see if that has any effect. I doubt this thing will really zoom in and show, but yeah, you can see where there's a bunch of melted looking plastic on either side of that surface. So, oof. So yeah, I melted my first set of points. I'm actually okay with making this error because I'm still learning. This is my first ever points ignition system, and now I've learned a valuable lesson, and I will not repeat that error ever again. So now the problem that I'm running into is that the post on this little plate here doesn't seem to want to accept any points other than the Joe's Motor Pool branded points. Others just don't seem to fit on there, so I'm going to have to grab some sandpaper and take off just a little bit of material so that some other points can fit on here, i.e. the other ones that I have laying around. Hoped it would just be easy, but nope. Yeah, right about there. That's as far down as they go. And now, with the points all figured out, I'm going to apply a whole lot of grease to both distributors, just in case I have to switch back to the old one again because I messed something up. Lesson learned. Now, with the new distributor, a good, not melted set of points, same cap, it's a good one, and I've guesstimated about where it needs to be timing wise, but we'll go ahead and get it warmed up and check on the timing. See if I can get that advanced to about, I think 10 to 15 degrees is probably where it'll be happiest. put you guys on the timing light. So if I dial in, looks like we're at about 14 or 15 degrees. So I guess just about right on that. That should be good. It still doesn't idle down, which is pointing me back to the carburetor over there. So that looks like a solid 14 degrees, I guess. Now we get to go old school with the engine analyzer. I got this thing set up for RPM to start with, but since it's warm, let's go ahead and just see where my dwell is at. It needs to be around 42, I believe. Says my RPMs are about 750. Check as well. For a 4-cylinder, it says my dwell is right at 40. So that's close, but not quite right. So let me adjust the dwell a little bit and we'll see if that gets any closer. All right, let's see what that got. 39 now. Well, 42. All right. The idle RPMs are kind of everywhere on this gauge, but it actually says, well, actually I don't know what to call that. If I call it 0 to 6,000, more often than not it's right around 700 RPMs. So that's actually about where it needs to be. It's still a little bit uneven, but I think that's now carburetor related because ignition is dialed. Well, at long last, I've got the ignition side of things way more dialed in than they ever have been. This Joe's Motor Pool distributor turned out to be really good. Now, don't judge it harshly because yours truly over here made a couple of rookie mistakes and melted a perfectly good brand new set of points. But all in all, I think it's awesome. And once I get, of course I have to do all of this all over again as soon as I get a couple of gaskets in, so I can pull the oil pump, turn it the right way, and then get this thing sitting correctly. But now I need to go over and fiddle with the carburetor a little bit. I get the feeling that early on in the project I used some gasoline that was tainted with ethanol, just from over there in the can for the lawnmower. And something's not right on the low circuit side of that, and I need to tear it back down and get into it again. It's brand new, so you wouldn't think that'd be a problem, but there may very well be. So thanks for watching. I think that's going to be it for this one. If you like the video, leave me a like, leave me a comment. If you want to point and laugh, leave me a comment. I'll accept those. If you just happen to find yourself here via a YouTube suggestion, because the algorithm said you might be interested, hey, if you found this interesting and you learned something, maybe learned what not to do, maybe subscribe. I've got a few more things to do on this Jeep and you might find them interesting. So thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.